You know, peeping always leads to creeping.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing.
Hey, what's up, Bowen?
Oh,
Hey,
you
Bowen. Have you sobered up?
dude. Yeah, it's been a fucking challenge because of like this having been a party house for 4 years and like everybody coming into town for Thanksgiving, and it's just whoa. But yes.
God,
Do you remember?
I bet Stitch keeps it pretty crazy.
Oh my god. Okay. Good morning.
Wow, we got a party here. We got
I know,
Michael,
Josh.
Josh, Danny.
Yay!
Miha. I don't think I know Miha. Miha Mahorko. What a great name.
No, neither do I. Hey, Danny and Josh. Michael. So I think we have enough people to start, right? So
Seems like it.
Yeah, and we're live. For anyone who is new to the party, if you want to see the notes of the meeting, you just go to github.com/giveit/communication, and there you see, if you install the ZenHub extension, you see it on a nice board, all the things that we are working on. So there you can follow if you're like lost, like what we're talking about, just ask us and we can like give you the number of the issue if you don't see what we're talking about. So first of all, let's check in. So the check-in is just saying what your intentions are for the meeting and what your distractions are. So my intention for the meeting is just hearing what everyone is working on and how we can help out. And I also have some short questions for the things I'm working on. And distraction is maybe just taking some notes in the different issues. And I give it to Josh.
Hello. My intention's just to listen in and get more familiar with the communication circle as we go. And my distractions are that I've started playing again with Aragon Monthly and have been messaging Chris a minute ago, but we'll come back to that. I pass it to Lorelei, sorry.
Oh, it's cool. You can call me Loie or Lorelei. I'll respond to either. Thank you. Let's see. I am distracted by just feeling like an overwhelm of lots of work today that's time sensitive, and also going to be leaving at 6:30 to like go do life stuff. I have someone visiting me. And my intentions for this meeting are just to stay in the loop in the flow here, and I'm really I'm hoping that one of these comms meetings weeks will get me actually kicked into putting all of my issues in the GitHub flow as well. But until then, it's really nice to see everybody's interface with that. And I will pass it to Griff.
Yeah. No real strong intentions for the meeting, probably just to give updates on random stuff that I forget that I'm doing, and then that people probably want to. And then, yeah, I'm distracted by the fact that there's a meeting going on at the Giveth office right now about anonymous voting, this Folkdoni group. So after this meeting, I'm going to go down there and hack a little with them. Well, unless, of course, there's some other meeting I probably have after this. How about Bowen?
Good morning. Let's see. My intentions for the meeting are to talk about what I've been working on, what's coming up, and just distracted by it being morning generally. And I guess I'll pass it on to Michael. Maybe not.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had it on mute. Yeah, I'm just here. Just want to continue to get to know the circles, get to know everybody, see what everybody's doing, and still have this flippin' cold that isn't going away. So I'm distracted a little bit by that. And I also came to the meeting because I have a couple of questions, which maybe I'll ask in this meeting, or maybe I'll save it for the governance meeting. I'm not sure, but a few questions for everybody. Okay, cheers. And I'll pass it on to, is that everybody? Mia, is it?
Yeah, no, she's just saying in the chat that her mic and webcam don't work. So I would say, Mia, just like write down in the chat like who you are, and then we know. And for the rest, it's just a good way to listen. And we have someone else who just joined. The Hello Motto person. I think that's Danny, actually.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We're just checking in.
Great. Yeah, I'm distracted by the fact that my audio, my microphones just doesn't seem to be connecting on my laptop again, which it worked fine yesterday, and now it's not. But I'm here. I have been in all kinds of wonderful conversations, and my intentions are to continue those conversations and hear what everybody's up to. Thanks. Is there anyone who hasn't gone yet?
Nope, that's it. And so we have Mia, who's from. I'm gonna mute you again, Danny, because there's a lot of background noise. Sorry. So yeah, Mia is from Data Fund, and they just joined Give It like a week ago. Right, and we just set up 2 campaigns on the testing environment and are about to go live. Yay, great. So I guess that is happening with Danny as well. So welcome. So how we've been doing this call the last few weeks is just going through the issues or some of the things that are on people's minds. I have some short questions on things I'm working on, but because Lorelei has to go first, maybe you, because you have to leave early, maybe you want to, are there specific things you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just really want to remind people who are going to be a part of the roles meeting, which is tomorrow after the Gov meeting, that now is the time to go into the roles sheet and update your roles. It should be light on the updating your roles part. You're probably just going to add what your recent projects are, but also give feedback, both numerical and verbal feedback on the filling of other roles that aren't yours, and yours as well. So now's the time to do that so that we can really try this roles experiment and have it work properly. So we need all your participation for that to start tomorrow. That's the main thing I want to talk about. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I had a question on that. I saw it was only 45 minutes. Do you think we'll succeed in going through everything?
Possibly. I mean, we've succeeded all these other times pretty much at keeping the roles meeting at 45 minutes. And I like the idea that it can be a more lightweight meeting, but I think people understand, you know, when you make a 45-minute slot that it might end up being an hour. I think most people don't even pay attention and they assume every meeting is an hour long. So we'll just see how it goes.
Okay, cool. I had another question about, for the unicorn onboarding. How many unicorns do we have, and who's next? What's happening on that front?
So we have 6 people in process of applying, and one of them has already had his meeting, and that was Kai. And we are still, so Kai's the the header as far as like being closest to being the first unicorn, but we still need to vote him in. Still kind of trying to determine how we have a vote when it's like who is eligible to have voting tokens on that. And basically I'm like trying to shuffle everyone along as I'm managing other projects. But if you have applied to be a unicorn, you know, now is the time to make sure that your sponsors have asked everybody, have asked around in the Give It community to test the water and make sure that you'll probably be accepted. And if you've done that, then now is a great time to check in with me and say, hey, I think that I might be ready to move on to having a meeting. We can set that up. I saw that Michael wanted to speak. Maybe he had something about that.
Yeah, it's related, but it's not exactly it's not exactly that. Just on the unicorns, my understanding is, so the unicorns, I think just as you mentioned, they have some kind of voting, but also the power to, let's say, give away some tokens, let's say, some to others for work or potential work. Is that about right? It's sort of like the decentralization of, you know, rewarding, I guess, to some extent as part of that unicorn role. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, it's a way for all of the unicorns to have power to pay people for work that they think is really great in getting Giveth towards its mission.
Okay, so I mean, and then I don't know if this is right. Maybe this is a governance question, but I'll just throw it out here anyway. Because one of the things I've been thinking about is, let's say we look at the DAOification of the DApp or the DApp or some other project, and you know, we have sort of a plan of, let's say, what we get buy-in from the whole team. We decide this is what we plan to do, but do the unicorns then kind of follow, sort of buy into that plan, and then they have the power, I guess, in a sense, to choose some of those tasks that are, let's say, part of that project and potentially reward somebody or champion one of those tasks? I'm just wondering if that's because what I'm thinking of in terms of incentives. So, for example, if someone in the DApp team, you know, let's say they are interested in being rewarded for a particular task, they may reprioritize what that task is based on who's offering a reward for a particular task. So I'm trying to sort of understand the dynamic between sort of managing a project where we have sort of a flow of what we're trying to do with a unicorn that may come in and, I'm not saying like upend it, but just, I mean, it all works fine as long as we have lots of communication. I'm just trying to understand, because the unicorns could potentially steer, they have, in a sense, they have a little bit of power to steer a project in a different direction based on their own interests, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But just trying to understand that dynamic, I guess.
Absolutely. So this is where I think the ability to like make a bounty for something comes in a lot with the unicorn DAC. So, I mean, one way people can delegate is unicorns can just see milestones that are already existing and say, hey, I want to support that. I'm going to delegate my 450 to that this week. Or they can create a milestone that's a bounty for, you know, saying, hey, I really think it's important that we get this new button on the DApp, because after I had a conversation with Satya and he petitioned me and really convinced me that this is important, you know, I see that I really want this work done, but he needs support for that. I'm going to make this bounty milestone, and then that unicorn could then use their delegation funds to fund that bounty and fund that work. So it's an opportunity for anyone in any project can lobby any of the unicorns and say, hey, I think this would be a great thing for you to spend your money on, but I can't go forward with the work until I know that I might have some reward for it. And yeah, that's how it's worked before up until this point, is a lot of times people coming to Griff and saying, hey, I think this feature is really important. Would you fund this work? And so we're just taking that kind of out of the centralization of that being in one person's lap and bringing that to all of the unicorns.
just talking very openly. So if we get, say, buy-in to a plan of action, and there's certain things that we need to get done as a high priority, then I could almost see myself as lobbying unicorns in a sense, to try to get unicorns. Hey, look, we've all agreed we really want to get this done. Is that, so that's kind of how it might work a bit. So I should get to know unicorns and
yeah, but there's it's a little more complicated than that, because there's also the governance campaign, the comms campaign, the DApp campaign, and all these other campaigns. Reward DAO has its own campaign, and they all have funds as well.
Right.
And so, like, if there's something you really want to do in the DApp, you know, I have a feeling that we will probably eventually make 2 DApp campaigns. There'll be the when Wojtek figures out what they want to call their entity.
$20 for the application.
What? Yeah.
What was that?
Someone who's not muted, I think.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, do they have a name? But when they figure out a name for their campaign, you know, either they'll transfer this campaign to you, or we'll start a new campaign and they'll change the name of their campaign. But I kind of imagine you being a campaign manager of some amount of funds that are dedicated towards the DApp. At least that's how I imagine things going.
Like just on the Aragon side, obviously there's funds, so that's no problem. But just more on the DApp side, I'm trying to understand that. But I think I understand. So
the Unicorn DAC will be passing out money, but it's not it's only so that unicorns can have a decentralized influence on the direction, but it's not the only source of funds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to hijack any more of this.
Yeah, sorry.
Great questions, Michael.
It's definitely a good point, and I think we're going to have more discussions we always have our governance fireside chat, and that's also always a good moment to bring up this to see how are we going to make decisions, because that's really governance material. So yeah, indeed, let's continue with the communication specific topics now. So there was a question from Miha. What they want to figure out now is the marketing part, and she has been talking to Danny and made a short communication plan, and wondering about what other teams are doing and what worked for them. Maybe Danny, you want to first add something to that? If we didn't lose you. Danny?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. I suggested that Miha come to this call because besides getting the campaign up and the milestones designed and released, he's working on setting up a fair data DAC that kind of models the approach that we wanted to take in having a fund set up that people can donate who care about that cause, and then that fund can not only be for the data fund campaigns, but any other campaigns that fit that. And talking about how to do the promotions and marketing, they already have a blog, so it would be really great for us to look at when we're ready to launch that DAC. It's our first one. It's the example of how we'd like this to roll forward. So that would definitely be something that we want to align our communication support system around and have something written up and make sure we share their blog posts and maybe get one of our own out too.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, getting one of our own out, I would say what we can. If so, it's a blog specifically for the Fair Data Initiative, or it's the Data Fund blog, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we want to make sure we're bringing attention to the campaign and also to the DAC, and also to how Giveth is modeling how we can do that. So it's using the Data Fund launch onto beta as our example to promote how we're envisioning the DApp being used in the future, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would say like so in the question what other teams are doing right now, there hasn't been a lot of communication from the other ones that are currently on the DApp, I guess, except for Giveth DAC itself. But we can definitely reinforce whatever you need, and on our, I think you can just resubmit the same post to also live on our Medium, so that it's always visible there. But we can also, like, when you're closer to actually publishing something, maybe we can jump on a quick call and see what else you need, and that we just can support in any possible way. Okay, cool. But so in any case, Giveth will support, and I'm currently working on the website. So I wanted to have like I have the structure ready. So we have the new website live, but so I discussed with Griff and with Kai, and we discussed last week that they would like to reorganize a little bit so that when people arrive on the site, they see very clearly what Giveth is about from the moment they get there. But on the same, because right now it starts actually with the projects that we support. So that part is an important part, and it's definitely gonna stay on there, but it's gonna go a little bit lower on the website. And that is also the place where I would like to, whenever there's like a project that the Giveth community supports, that we also link to that. So this is like a perfect example of a project that we can link to give it some more traction. So that's another thing that could help. Talking about the website, I have so 2 questions about that one. So a very practical one is for Griff. So right now, Griff, you have like, so there's on the website, we have all these projects. So you have what Kai now put under a galaxy of projects. So you have Aragon, the Telegraph, Space Decentral, and all these projects. And then you have at the bottom, you have the old links that haven't changed right now. And Kai said that those are like the ones that are using our smart contracts. But so now my question is like, I know not all of them are using our smart contracts. So I was thinking of maybe merging them and putting just all the logos and the projects together. Unless you're like, no, we really need to keep the ones that use a smart contract separately. But the ones that are there currently, well, I know Alice doesn't use our smart contract, right? So, and I don't think my crypto and my Ether wallet do, but we have a node and a connection with them. So I wanted to.
There's also lots of other groups that have forked our smart contracts and have used them. Anyone who uses Mini-Me, Swarm City, Bloom, District OX, Status, Aragon, those are our smart contracts. But like, I think go for it. Also, is the White Hat group on there?
Nope.
They should definitely. We should milk our White Hat group connection.
Yeah, I think then probably what I was thinking right now is that we have like that we have like a big chunk that really shows these are the projects. The thing that we have now, like mini, like 1 or 2 word sentence description. This is with their logo and a description what the link is. So then we can say this is smart contracts. This is the DAC. This is whatever. This is the White Hat group, so that people know what the link is, and then we have everything together.
Yep. Yeah. And the podcast should get up there too.
Definitely, yeah.
Maybe
It's
I'll make
another one of these.
I've been making a couple issues.
Yeah, but you know, the thing I've written it down to also add the podcast. I was thinking of maybe what I'm doing right now. So I have the structure, and I'm writing the little pieces of text, and I think actually Kai will be able to do it because I think he's getting bored being at home and not working because he's saying like, hey, can we have our call? We need to have our weekly meeting, and he'll join us again next week as well. Anyways, so I think he'll be able to help updating the website. So that's good news.
Okay.
But my question was, if you have maybe time today or tomorrow, Griff, that when I'm done, that I just show you the structure, and then you just check the text itself whenever you have time. But just that I guide you in like 10 minutes through the structure to see if it makes sense to you.
Tomorrow is going to be really tough for me, but you can try. Friday will be a lot easier.
And later tonight?
Later tonight is possible.
I'll ping you. I'll see if it works.
Yeah, and feel free to like call me on WhatsApp or something.
Later tonight or after 3 on Friday.
Okay, that's good feedback. Thanks, Louis. So that's for the website. I had another question. Oh no, so I already changed a little bit of the text in the parts that I can change, but the rest I'm leaving as it is right now because the order has to change, otherwise the text doesn't make sense. So, but I can edit the text myself. But I'll talk to you. Tomorrow I'll talk to Kai, and then we'll get it done. Okay, that was my main thing. The other thing is funding, and that's the thing I'm going to start working on as soon as this website makes sense again in my head. And the other thing I'm working on this week is the Aragon Monthly. And I'll also check Josh's message on that later because the next one needs to get out soon. Okay, anyone else? Questions, thoughts, issues?
I have at least a short one that's really good news, and I think we can close an issue. It's issue 41. We got the Stable Fund grant from MakerDAO.
Yay!
Yeah.
Whoa.
We're gonna get. It's not like a huge amount of money or anything, but it's a 5K on the DApp, and then 5K in DAI on the milestone that can accept DAI. So that'll be really cool.
So 10K in total.
10K in total, and we get the last 5K once we actually have milestones that can accept DAI. And they said that they don't normally just pay people to accept DAI on their DApp, but that I made a really, really long proposal to them that I had lots of conversations with Rich, who does it. I'm gonna post this is the link to the proposal I sent. And the proposal ended up turning into kind of a vision for the DApp going forward post. And it's pretty long, but at the same time, I really hope Chris made lots of comments, Michael made lots of comments. I'd really like to make sure that everyone who wants to be part of the DApp going forward kind of like checks that out, because we're at this point where we kind of get to recreate our vision because a lot of the influence direction has left, or at least are taking less of a role, because Wojtek and Sacha are kind of going a different direction with the white label version of the DApp. So now we have the opportunity to really like align ourselves around a new vision or the same vision or whatever. And especially since we have new people like Michael that haven't been around, and everyone kind of has their own ideas because we don't have very great documentation around this. My fault. If you can read this thing and just read it for fun, or make comments if you have suggestions about how we can better phrase it, I think Michael is writing up something as well that this will feed into. So I just hope that everyone can check it out. What's up, Michael?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what you're saying. I think it's a really excellent document, and that's right. I would like to. I think maybe for now we can just keep kind of wrapping around this version of it, and come to some kind of agreement. And then I would like to use that kind of as the overview of, when we start actually building the sort of what the roadmap looks like. But it would be nice to have buy-in from everybody in terms of what the vision is. And I think this document provides that kind of, we might want to reframe it a little bit, and maybe I could grab some of the text and kind of really turn it into a vision paper. But maybe for now, just keep commenting on this one, because I think it's a really good starting point.
Yeah, I think we'll need to also start adding some things like who is, the roadmap for our intended audience, the roadmap for, the DApp technical development, but also cultural development on top of it. There's a lot of forks of this roadmap discussion that we can kind of start really coalescing on.
Right, and I say the other thing too is there's a lot of, Jeff and I and others, I think, have been throwing around all these interesting initiatives that are out there. I think Griff too, you shared a bunch of them with me. Maybe we should also, if you see anything out there, just maybe at the bottom, we can just have kind of a reference section of all the sort of innovation that's happening. So I think that could really inspire us too.
Yeah, and I would say those, don't hesitate. If you, because I like it when the channels are really alive. So if you see things that inspire you, just add them in the blockchain talk room, or add them in DApp development if it's really DApp specific and relevant to the team. Flood the channels with interesting links so that people read and comment on it, and we have the discussions. We had, in general, you had the discussion about the Jeff's work right now, right? Someone asked a question and you had a discussion on it, Griff, and that's beautiful. Then people comment and we develop the vision in Riot, and that's where we want to have the discussion.
Absolutely. And does anyone else have any comments on that piece? Because I have a couple of other topics that I put in here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would say for that document. So I guess then now we could maybe say the ownership of that document moves a little bit to Michael, because you did your job of securing the funds, and now it's getting a vision out of this. So I would just say maybe you can just create a new issue, Michael, and say hey, this is what's gonna happen. This is what is going to happen with that document, and just ask the people, the core team, hey, have you checked it? So that it actually happens, because it's 8 pages and I see there's a gazillion comments now. So I'll postpone it if you don't push me to look at it again. So that's you're in charge of it. So I would say go ahead and create an issue.
Just a question there. Do we need to create a new Google Doc? Or, you want to preserve this proposal for reference, or can we just start modifying this one? Since we've already
good idea to keep the.
I have another copy of the actual proposal that I copied over from this, so I have a copy of this.
Okay, or with all, and then you can change it and link to the one that Griff has, or you create a new document and you link to this one with all the comments, whatever you prefer.
Okay. Yeah, totally how you want to play it, Michael. But in the end, Google, no data is lost by Google.
But there is data lost by us sometimes. So what I do want to ask is if you create it, put it on the Give a Google Drive under DApp or under communication, wherever you think it belongs.
Okay.
But you have write access there now, so that we just find our stuff back.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Next for Griff.
Cool. So the next one is that we actually have moved the DApp team meeting to 7 p.m. and it's so the DApp team is keeping their meeting at 8 o'clock for themselves, but it's more about what they're working on with RSK. And now we have a new Giveth Focus DApp team meeting that's happening at 7. It'll be the first one ever right after this comms meeting. So you guys are more than welcome to all hang out and stay or leave. You know, if you have a life, you know, that's totally acceptable. But at least I'm going to go and bug them about all my issues after this meeting.
Hey, Lorelei, can you then maybe also put it in the Giveth calendar?
Yeah, I will. I do need to go right now, but is this the first time you're announcing that?
Yes.
You can also put it in DApp development then, yeah.
But yeah, I can invite the Giveth.io calendar to it for the regular.
I'm probably going to change the Jitsi meeting room because I don't think it's the Giveth dev team is not really what it is.
No, you can call it the Giveth DApp.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But right now that's where it's at and that's the plan. So for tonight, that's where it's at. But we'll make the next week. Lorelei will help make that happen.
Cool.
The other one is...
Hey, guys.
Bye.
Danny, do you have anything to say about that? Oh, Danny. Yeah, Danny's here. I wish I could.
She has issues with her mic as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So the other one is we had... Chris had a meeting with Coin Payments, and I'll actually mention this in the DApp team meeting later too, but I was looking at their resources, and they have and I think we're going to run into this a lot, that they have an API that allows them to send Ether to an address, but for security reasons, I don't think any developer would just openly have the ability to call data in any random contract as part of their core functionality, like in their API, right? So, and we're going to run into this a lot, where for accepting payments from fiat or from any other kind of shapeshift or any kind of exchange, we're going to need to either work with them and create a custom solution where they call function and they basically trust our bridge contract, or it just won't work. And I just want us to all be aware that because the DApp can't receive, and there's no real good solution for this. We've been working on it for months, and the technical solutions are really involved or just really horrible. But basically, to donate to a campaign, you can't just send money to an address. This will probably change when we're on the XDAI chain. You'll be able to use the you'll be able to do this, but maybe. But for now, it's not possible. So, yeah, just a heads up. You can't donate to any milestones, campaigns, or DACs by sending just to an address, and that's a huge problem.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we stimulate people to start donating within the DApp directly, of course, right?
Yes, but they can do that, and they can do that with MetaMask, and they can do that with all these things. But if someone wanted to connect Shapeshift, so that they can send Doge in and it be converted to Ether, or Coin Payments wants to accept a credit card.
Yeah, I get it. That's the issue. That doesn't work right now. But yeah, maybe we'll figure something out. Yeah, do talk about it then in the DApp meeting, and we will talk to them tomorrow evening as well. And so the good news about it is they asked us if we can implement it, because they want to put, when we do that, they will put a donate button in their stream, in their flow on their Coin Payments website. So whoever does a transaction would also get like a mention like, hey, and now you can donate to Giveth, which would be cool, but we'll have to find a way to make that work as well. And in any case, they also want to, and we'll see if they don't back out of this, but at least now they told us that they're very enthusiastic about Giveth, and they do now a monthly donation to the Independent Identity Fund. I forgot the name, what it was exactly, and they want to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they want to shift that one to us as of now. So I don't know how much money it is, but that's their corporate donation, a monthly one that they would just give to us. So that's already great news.
And that we could accept. They could just go on MetaMask and hit donate, and it'll work.
Yep. So more coming up about that. Yep, cool.
Cool. Let's see. The other one is we have a podcast.
Yay!
I've put a link to the podcast over here. It's called DATT Podcast, Decentralize All the Things Podcast. Bowen is, of course, a big help on that. And I just want to make sure we're all aware of it. We haven't put any podcasts up, but I expect that that will happen this week. Bowen, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, from what I know, I think there are 7 from Web3 that are in the can, and they're just waiting to release it until just after Thanksgiving because they didn't want to compete with it. Even though I said that if I had my druthers, that would have been the perfect time to release stuff is right before it because everybody was going to be traveling and it would have been the perfect time, but then there wouldn't have been time to promote it and everything. So evidently that's what they're doing. I just started work on Vlad's lecture, which I kind of have to do a lot of voiceover in the middle of it to kind of explain what the questions are and kind of reorder the questions into a coherent narrative. And there's a few of the interviews that that happened that are just kind of, or not interviews, but the talks that can go out, and they will be relatively quickly after that. But the Web3 stuff is ready for 7 weeks worth of content coming out like right away.
And do you think you'll do interviews with people and just put it up like live kind of thing?
I would like, that was my idea to do after Burning Man last year, because what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to do like a TED Radio Hour, kind of sort of condensing what was said at a talk and then clarifying it with some interview stuff. And I was talking with the guys about basically getting a decent USB microphone to mail to people so they could record their interviews live on their side, so the audio quality that we'd be working with was awesome rather than like Jitsi or Google Hangouts audio recordings. And everybody seemed to be done with that idea as well. I don't know that they are scheduled to happen yet as much as it's just something that we've been talking about.
Yeah, well, I am excited about that. I figured
the stuff that's coming out now is a really good way to build momentum for doing something like that.
Yeah, and we could even do like a monthly Giveth update podcast or some who knows. We could do lots of things that with this platform.
Absolutely, I am in complete agreement. And I am now set up to be able to do that like at the drop of a hat.
Yay! So cool. Anything else on that point? I have a small one in between, because I think you have another one, Griff, but it's an important one, and that is that Kai just told me that the hacker still has access to it. Because we saw that he just logged in and he sees that it again had like an fl.ru link.
No,
somewhere.
that's me.
Ah, that's you. What was that?
I did. I was dealing with a hacker today, but it was a white hat group thing, and I was proving. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, we were like, because it was the same thing with a URL and like an .ru address. He was like, shit, the hacker still has access. Phew, that's a relief. Okay. No, but still, we need to download all the. We need to download all the videos, because even if they don't have access, we cannot risk that this happens again, because then it's really painful to say, hey, in the meantime, we haven't backed up our YouTube videos and we got hacked again. So I just asked Kai like if he could do it or if he wants someone else to do it. So he's gonna try it later, and he says to also ask the contributors if there's someone who's interested to run a script or do whatever, or just do it manually, that we download and back up all the YouTube videos from all the playlists we have, so that we have a backup if this ever happens again, because Google is not going to do it for us every time.
Yeah.
So I'll post it in contributors, but if there's anyone here who's like, hey, I have a script or I can write a script, you're welcome to. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
Miha says that they can help with the promotion of podcasts. They have 11K users on their platform, and they can share a link with hashtags, Twitter, something like that. So, yeah, well, I guess we're doing it after Thanksgiving, so we'll have something to retweet.
Cool. Okay, Griff, you had another point?
Maybe, but I forgot it.
Someone else who has a specific topic they want to talk about? Oh, Bowen, I have one for you. Just a thing for so social coding. Is the time gonna change, or is it now gonna, or because there was some confusion yesterday on when the call happens?
Well, basically, I need to figure out some sort of actual reliable way, because I've got a world clock on my computer here, and it's saying that it's 5:48 p.m. CET right now. Is that correct?
Nope.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even my clocks, and if you ask Google what CET is, it will say 5:48, but that's because it doesn't take into account daylight savings. So there seems to be a real daylight savings issue right now. So basically, it's supposed to happen at 9 p.m. here, or 9 a.m. here, which is whatever 9 a.m. is anywhere else.
No, but you know, actually it was because, yeah, we were at CEST and now we're back on CET. So normally Google is going to say it correctly because we're no longer on well, we're on the regular time, the winter time. But yesterday it did actually happen an hour earlier than the time that is in the bot. The time in the bot and in the meeting request is the correct time, but the meeting just happened an hour earlier. So
yeah,
that's just,
I don't know if that was Yailer or what that was, but I was
Yailer.
Yeah, okay. All right. So basically it's supposed to happen at 9, so it's gonna be happening at 9 from now on.
Okay, cool.
Just like this one.
Yeah,
just
because
like all of the rest of the meetings happen at the same time, but the social coding kept happening an hour early for some reason. And so we're going to make sure that the bot is saying the time right, and that everything else is correct, and everybody understands that it's not happening that hour early, because there was like 10 people in that meeting yesterday. And
but there would have been way more.
What time to do it?
But that's because Yailer sent them a message directly, but the call was really supposed to happen an hour later. And I'm just mentioning it because then it's these social coding calls, they need to be like triple as active, I would say, than this one, in a sense. It's like it's a community coming together and social coding. So like just to indeed be clear to the people so that they can actually join. I also wanted to hear the social coding like the colony people. And so as I sent to you, if you wanna stream the meeting, I can just send you the private key from the Giveth YouTube, because yesterday it was streamed on Yailer's private account, but we can just stream it on Giveth, of course.
Yeah, let's we can talk about that after the meeting. Some secure way to get a password to me to do that.
Yeah,
I would be more than happy to stream the meetings, and it looks like I'll probably be taking over the syncs. Just making sure that somebody is there once I've been there and Yailer sees that I can actually do it. So
make sure to talk to Kai. Kai wants to have monopolistic control over us.
Absolutely cool with me. I would rather somebody else had control over it, or that I wasn't a possible point of failure. However, I understand that you and Kai and Yailer may not be able to make it to a meeting at some point, and it would be nice if it could get recorded.
Yeah.
And it's just, I have been told many times by Kai never to give out any information ever about the secure or blah, blah, blah. So check with Kai before we move any info.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think he's going to create some kind of document or some kind of documentation on how we can safely do our management of online resources and security and stuff.
Well, if we could all do it, but we'd all kind of either have to have one person set up two-factor authentication, but when they do it, shoot a picture of the barcode and send it through Signal to the other people that can have the barcode, and then we can all have the 2FA running in Google Authenticator on our phones, which is cool. But then, of course, the sending the message is a point of failure security-wise, but that would be possible. Like Luker and I have a lot of shared Google Authenticators, like stuff that we made at the same time, just so if one of our phones goes missing, we both have it in our Google Authenticator, which is an easy way to go about doing it. But hey, you know, it's not up to me. It's just a good idea.
Yeah, no, but we're looking into for the moment, like the main YouTube account. It's only Griff, Kai, and I who have access, because to prevent that people did again. But indeed, for the streaming key is also, yeah, once you have the streaming key, you can put on there whatever we want. So for that one, indeed, we have to like see what we can do. But we have 2FA on it for sure. But yeah, Kai is indeed gonna check how we can like make it possible that everyone can stream and that it stays safe. Michael, you had a question.
Yeah, two questions. First one, again, just another newbie question. Is this going to be the main place for the team check-in? So I'm just thinking like around the table, who's doing what? Is the comms meeting that sort of that place, or is it the governance meeting?
I would say like what everyone is working on, that's the governance meeting. So in the beginning of the governance meeting, the idea is to say what you've been working on. Comms meeting is, I would say, mostly like outward facing things, and like also the community coming. So that's why we always try to like keep the topics on there, and sometimes we drift off a little bit on a sidetrack, but then we try to bring it back.
Okay, perfect. So then this is a sort of a comms related thing. It is a comms related thing. So I talked to Chris about this, and I've talked to Griff about it as well. But before I was part of Giveth, I was organizing this event in Montreal here, and we're trying to organize a 100-person event. And I thought it would be useful to maybe rebrand it now, as in part Giveth being a co-organizer of the event. And I put it as an issue in the GitHub, but the living document I can put in the chat in a second, so you can see the updates. And I was talking to a bunch of people on Monday. We've pretty much confirmed a lot of speakers. We have Ethan Wilding. I think a lot of you guys know him. He's going to come. But I think if anybody has a chance to take a look at it, I think one of the interesting challenges about that is I want it to, in some ways, it may be too traditional pre-Giveth, but now that if we brand it as Giveth, I'd like to, get your input into making it an event that is Giveth-like, something that Giveth would do, if you know what I mean. So part of it is there will be some, traditional not-for-profits being part of that, but also people that are doing really innovative blockchain projects like related to identity and refugees and things like that. So it's like a whole mix of people. But just in terms of making sure it fits within sort of the style and the thinking of what is a Giveth, what could be a Giveth event. If you have any feedback, I'd really appreciate it.
I mean, I would say that, if it's blockchain for good, then it's Giveth for sure. So no worries there. And then, but if there's a, if it was a Giveth style event, I would think of it as a hackathon where, and if you have Ethan there, like you could, and what was your timing for this?
It's in beginning of February.
Beginning of Feb is a little tight, but you could talk to Ethan and see if he has this document that tells you how to run a good hackathon.
Okay.
It's like he's decentralized. His ETH Global events are amazing. The best conferences in the space. There are these hackathons that go all over the world, and then he like made this document that's just a step-by-step how to succeed at it. That's been battle tested over, I don't know, 15 different hackathons all over the world. So you could ask, if you're already in contact with him, you could ask him for that.
Yeah, I am. And I mean, that could be it could be part, you know, plenary where people are listening, and then another track where people are, you know, doing a hackathon or something like that. Or morning is the hackathon, afternoon is discussions, and see if he would be willing to kind of help to steer that in the right direction.
Oh, and it's just a one-day conference?
Yeah, just one. We were even going to do it half a day, but
it's kind of hard to do a hackathon and just half it in just a one day. So, but
I'll get feedback. But if you have any other feedback too, or you know people in, I think there's a lot of blockchain people in Toronto besides Ethan. Let me know. I know Anne Connolly is another one. Some of you guys know her. So just looking for people like that to kind of share the values of Giveth.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think if it's a conference, you know, for one day, I think just having the talks and everything, it can be, you know, Giveth does meetups too, so it's totally cool.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, just keep us posted on how it evolves, and if you're there and you can explain, by then you'll be the perfect person to explain how the Giveth DApp works. So you're the person to talk about Giveth, I would say, and you're there.
Yeah, for sure, but also other projects too, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Griff and I were talking. It may be, it would be a little ironic talking about the DAOification of the DApp at an event. And that may be too early to talk about that, but certainly some of the other things, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, when things, I think it'll be really interesting to see where we're at in like December and January. And I'm sure like just having this in our head that, oh, if you're in Toronto, there's this conference, lots of people will end up coming out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give us something that we can link and start tweeting, we can start it, you know, sooner rather than later, obviously.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep. So we're running out of time because Griff has to go in 1 minute to the next one. So did you still want to talk about Thailand, Griff? Lorelei shared.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick one. Just I pasted the spreadsheet for Thailand. If you want to come. Looks like Chris is gonna be there like the whole time. Hell yes.
Yes.
About.
Yeah, and I was talking to Lorelei, but it's you, of course. You're typing with her laptop.
Yeah, I'm an imposter. Not beautiful. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
But yeah, just please, guys, give us a heads up, and if like Chris will get you guys a room right down the street because there aren't very many private rooms. There's really only one, so it's probably best bet to, if you are coming as a couple, that you'll get a place down the road. But we have this awesome pad with a swimming pool and lots of workspace that will be a fun little hackathon space. Yeah,
and it was really, really nice last year. It was, and now that's why I want to stay the entire period. Now I booked my tickets yesterday evening, and they're getting really expensive. So if you want to come to Thailand, book soon.
Yeah, and that means you too, Miha. If you want to come to Thailand, we got a space for you and Gregor and the whole Data Fund crew.
That would be nice. Yeah. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, Josh, if you want to come as well, like.
Definitely.
Okay. Any other pressing topics? If not, 3, 2, 1, 0. Checking out. Thank you guys for the really, really, really nice meeting. I enjoyed it a lot as always. And I'll see you guys next week. And please just make issues for the things if they're not in there yet. I remember one that Michael was going to make for the follow-up of the vision. And yeah, I'll talk later. And thanks for the meeting. And I give it to Griff.
yeah, guys, if you want, the DAP team meeting is happening right now. So after closeout, I'll hang out, hear what you guys close out, and then we'll roll over to the next meeting. I'll go to Josh.
Yeah, I'm sticking around for the next meeting. I think there's a governance meeting, I thought.
No, it's a new app meeting.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll hang out for that. So easy. I pass it to Michael.
Great, great meeting. Thanks, everyone. Answered a lot of. You guys helped to answer a lot of questions I had today, and I'm sticking around as well for the next one. And I'll pass it over to who's left. Oh, new people are coming. Is that it? Owen, did you go?
We still have Bowen, and I think
I have not gone yet. Thanks for the meeting, everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for being and making it awesome. That's about it. Is anybody else left?
nope, that's it.
Although,
So-
actually, Wojtek just showed up. Hey, Wojtek.
Morning, Wojtek.
Wojtek is there for the next meeting, I think. Hey, Wojtek.
Good evening.
Can
At the same time, I hear Danny, who's in the other room, but okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I guess we'll move to the other room.
Yeah,
Is
I,
it-
I don't care. Probably the other room then.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, instead.
yeah. I mean, Chris, you wouldn't want people just coming in the comms meeting if we go a little over, right? Like,
It's really, I find this disgusting. This is like polluting my comms with like depth stuff.
maybe we could just go from the comms meeting to this and not change rooms, you know?
I don't care. I do whatever you want.
Can I stick around if I could just listen?
Yeah, of
No.
course.
Okay.
Of course you can. But I think, yeah, if you create a new meeting request, Griff, then you can do it to give a depth that you said and just for clarity for people. But for now, do whatever you want. But I'm gonna do what Lorelai said, like try to have a life, and that means having dinner at a proper time for once. So talk to you guys later.
Okay, see you, Chris.
Bye.
See you guys.
Hey, and Griff, can you stop the stream then?
Yeah, I can stop it. And yeah.